what actually matters in your business. A lot of times we're trying to get things done, but we don't really know what matters. So we're not getting the result that we said we wanted. And I spent a lot of years trying to figure this out. What are some things that we can do? So we got three big points that we're going to focus on. One, why productivity hacks don't work without this one key ingredient. Two, we're going to be focused on how to stay focused even if you've never been disciplined before. Then also, we're going to focus on how to make progress in your business even if you're like super busy. I remember when I first started really getting into this business, I would say maybe within my first few years, and I started doing these teleseminars. This was before the pandemic. This was before the Zoom and everything. They had these free conference calls. So I remember this one conference call. This is before I had the savviness and I knew the business and everything. It's just like I'm just trying stuff at this point. So I'm promoting for this teleseminar. Everybody get on the call. You can't see anybody, but you can hear what's going on. So so I'm promoting for this. This was around the time that Beyonce had the On the Run tour, right? Some of y'all remember that. She had the On the Run tour, and I'm like, oh, cool. I got a large, female following, and then even the guys that follow me, maybe they may be interested in going or whatever, right? Or taking a girl or whatever, right? So I ended up buying this ticket, which first of all, I didn't even really think through it because I only had one ticket. I should have bought two. But anyway, I bought this one ticket and I'm like, yo, this is gonna be the ticket that everybody's gonna want. And this is like my marketing strategy at the time, just to show you my level of sophistication, right? So so the time comes for this webinar, and I'm thinking all of these people are gonna come. So at the time that the webinar starts, it's crickets. I don't see anybody there. Okay, I'm like, all right, let me give it a few more minutes. 5 minutes, nobody. 10 minutes, nobody. I'm like, oh my God, like, I really wanted to help people. I really want to give. I promoted this, I had the ticket, and 15 minutes later, this one lady comes strolling on the call, and now I'm like, I guess I got to do something now, right? And and my girlfriend at the time, I'm like, yo, can you please just jump on the call? I just want her to hear somebody else's on it, because it happened just to be this one lady. So at this point, now I'm like, okay, let me deliver. So I'm giving, I'm training. There's only her on the call though, but I'm like, I'm giving my all. I'm training, I'm teaching, and as I'm doing it, she's being engaged, whatever. So we get to the point where it's time. Somebody got to win a ticket, right? This was a raffle. So all right, I got this ticket. All right, let's see who's gonna win. Remember, there's only one person who could win. Who's gonna win this ticket? So I say her name, and she goes crazy. Oh my God, I won the ticket. I'm going to the Beyonce concert. She goes crazy. And I remember in that moment, I had two feelings. First, I was excited for her. I was excited because I'm like, wow, she won. I was excited because I'm like, wow, I really have value to give. But at the same time, I was also pissed off because I said, wait a minute, I have value to give. People actually want to hear what I have to say. They like my training, they like the content, they feel like it's helpful. I'm getting thank yous. She's telling me, so I'm hearing this, and I'm hearing, and what that made me realize is like, oh, if I just knew how to be more productive, I can get more attention. I can get ahead faster. I can get more clients. I'm like, oh, it has nothing to do with my value and has everything to do with my level of not knowing how to be productive in business. Because if I knew it, I would be able to get more people interested. I would be able to get more people to pay attention. I would be able to get more people to enroll in my products and services and get clients. So it was from that moment on that I went on a journey to say, I really got to figure out and crack the code on this business. And then from there, I started hiring coaches. I started hiring mentors. I started getting a part of programs. I was just like, yo, let me invest. Let me get around the right people. Let me learn. Let me grow. Let me figure this thing out. Because I could be the smartest person in the world. I could be the smartest person in my niche. I could be the most helpful. I could be the most caring. But if nobody doesn't know it, because I can't be productive enough to know what truly matters in the business, then I won't live my purpose. I won't change any lives. I won't be able to make any money. And ultimately, I'm gonna feel like I'm not doing what I feel like I'm called to do on this earth. And that's why I went on this mission. So that's what today is going to be for you, is really just going to shift your mind in terms of what you really need to be focusing on and paying attention to. And it's probably different than what your current awareness is right now. So the first topic, right, is why productivity hacks don't work without this one ingredient. So this is key right now. I'm working with I'm working with one of our clients early on, right? His name is Akil. When we first started working together, he was kind of all over the place in terms of who he wanted to help. He wasn't really clear on like what the messaging was, who his ideal clients were. He was just really all over the place. I said, look, when he first came in as a client, I said, I need you to be coachable, and I need you to really be and I really need you to understand who you're talking to. And he said, okay, bro, what do you mean by that? I said, clarity. I said, you got to have clarity. I said, the reason why you're not making that much sales, and he was maybe only making a few $100s a month, but been doing this for years though. It wasn't like he started yesterday, trying for years to make this happen. And I said, you got to have clarity in terms of who you're talking to, because if you have the clarity on who you're talking to, then you know what to actually focus on. So, okay, so what you're seeing in terms of the clarity, I'm like, yeah, so you could be if you're not clear on who you're talking to, then you're not going to be clear on the steps you need to be taking, right? Because that means that the things that you're doing is trying to attract everybody, which is like most people, they're afraid to choose. So I said, you can't focus on everybody, but be clear on who you want to help, and then be clear on what steps it takes to get in front of that ideal audience. Do you know, once we started doing that, he first told me, he said, if you help me make $10,000 at any point in time in a month over the next 12 months, he was like, I got a year with you. If you can help me make 10K at any point in time, he's like, I'm telling the world about you. I said, it's not going to take you that long. So after we had this conversation, 30 days later, he's at $10,000. In 30 days, his first 30 days working together, he was at $10,000. What changed? What did we do? What happened? We had the ability to really start getting clear on who he needed to talk to, what activities he needed to focus on. See, that's the big thing, is like, without clarity, you're not going to achieve your goals. You have to be clear on the outcome of the destination you want to have. If you're not clear on the outcome of who you're even looking to talk to, how are you going to be clear on what places there are, what places they hang out at, what places they go online, who is worth having conversations with and who's not worth having conversations with? So clarity is the big thing that's going to take that to the next level. When once you do it, that's when progress starts happening much faster. There's a lot of people that just do things and just put things online or just take action every day. Or they say, well, I know I should be working on my business every day, and they just start working on things. That's used to be me. I used to just feel good that I did something in the business today. That was me. I said, oh, I just did something. I worked on a website today. Yeah, I got my logo today. Yeah, I posted today. Yeah, I got my colors, my brand colors today. Yeah. And I was but there was no strategy to it. There was no rhyme or reason to it. There was no step-by-step plan. Like, if you driving in a car, you know you're supposed to be driving down this highway. You know you're supposed to be turning here, turning there. Like, I didn't have any plan. It was just like, yo, I'm just happy to be in the car driving. And if that is your mentality, you got to get out of that mentality of just being happy doing something. And you actually have to know that you're taking steps towards the outcome that you want. Once I discovered that, it's been the biggest breakthrough in my life, because I know it now. Every time I'm taking steps, I'm not just doing things hoping to get to my destination. I'm taking steps in action every day, knowing that I'm getting closer to my goal every day. I'm not just doing things just to be happy and say that I'm doing it, which that was me when I first started as a rookie. This is my 12th year in business. Actually, it's 2025, 13 years. 13 years in business. Think about that. So that's not going to cut it. I got to know that every effort that I put in, every action that I take, Every minute that I take out of my day to say, I want to achieve this goal, I have to be clear on, is this taking me in that direction? Or you'll be doing things for a long time and never be going in the right direction. Had a conversation with a lady last year, and she's been coaching for 20 years. I said, congratulations, you've been coaching for 20 years. And she's excited, chest poked out. She was ready. I said, great. I said, where are we trying to get you? 20K a month, 30K a month? I figured she must have some level of success at this point. And she said, well, I'm gonna be honest, I'm trying to make my first 5,000. Really? Your first 5,000 a month? She said, no, my first 5,000. Imagine working a job for 20 years and never making 5,000. You basically volunteered your whole time, right, at this job. If you never made that in 20 years, right? So she felt good that she was taking action, but she never took the right action in 20 years. 20 years, never took the right action. So, and now we're on a call trying to fix what's going on. And as I started asking questions, because I was a little confused at first, I realized, oh, she never understood what to focus on. She was confused the whole time. She was distracted the whole time. She didn't know any effort. She didn't know the effort that it took. She didn't know the steps that it took. She was just doing everything. When she thought about doing a business, she was just doing anything. So doing anything never amounted her in anything significant or substantial that people would care about, or that will also take her business to the next level. So that's really key, is you got to have clarity. Clarity is everything. That's the point. And I can say this from personal experience. That's the point that we all want to skip. Let's just be real. I know we all want to skip it. That's been me. Like, it's like, yo, I just want to get to, what do I need to do? Get me the tactics, the techniques, like what steps I got to take. And we all jump straight to the steps that you need to take without looking at, what target am I actually trying to go after? Why is this important? Because once you understand your targets and you're clear on that, then every other opportunity that comes your way, because people are going to come to you with opportunities. People are going to come to you to want to partner. People are going to want to come to you to get on a podcast. People are going to want to come to you to be part of your thing. People are going to come to you so you could be part of their thing. People are going to want to do things with you. And it's going to be harder for you to understand whether you should take certain opportunities or whether you should leave certain opportunities where they're at, because it's not in alignment with your goal and where you're trying to go. Huge. I'm telling you, this is huge. You could go the rest of your life saying that you coach and speak and never actually achieve any of your goals because you had no clarity the entire time. And learn from the lady who's been doing it for 20 years. Because if that can happen after 20 years of no clarity, she can go another 20 years with no clarity. She can go another 60 years with no clarity. She can go her whole life and never achieve the things she said she wanted to achieve in life because there was a lack of clarity. Second, so here's the thing. Second thing. Number 2 is how to stay focused even if you've never been a disciplined person. So this is interesting, right? Because you get a lot of folks when they talk about being productive and getting things done, it's like, oh, I'm not really, I don't really feel like I'm a productive person. I don't really feel like I have the discipline. I really need to have the discipline, to lock in, and the discipline to stay focused. But I'm gonna tell you, it doesn't really take that. What it really takes is you gotta have productive habits. That's really what it is. You gotta have habits that's gonna give you the ability to make things happen. I remember one of my clients, we're on a training call one week, and so I'm doing trainings, right? So we on Zoom and I'm on trainings, and I see one of my clients, and I'm looking at these big white walls, I'm seeing these high ceilings, and I'm kind of looking to see like, yo, where are you at, right? I'm training the teacher, but I'm still kind of looking like curious, like where's she at? So so I say, yo, T, where you at? And she says, I'm in the hospital. I'm like, really? Is everything okay? She's like, everything is okay. I usually have to go to the hospital a couple times a week, this and that, which she does because, family situation she has her home health situation, take care of mom. So she's always in the hospital like every week. So on this particular call, she happened to be in the hospital. I'm like, well, I'm like, that's kind of committed. I'm like, you on a call? Like, I think everybody would excuse you for not being on a call because, you're in a hospital. And she said something that I would never forget. She said, Why wouldn't I be on the call? She said, that would just be an excuse because my phone works. She said, I'm in a hospital bed, but there's nothing wrong with my phone. My phone works. She said, I can listen. There's nothing wrong with my ears. I can think. I can talk. There's nothing that would be stopping me from being on this training right now. There's nothing that would stop me from doing it. And I said, let's go. I said, no excuses, baby. No excuses. That is a positive habit that she has developed within herself. He said, look, if I have the ability to do it, I'm going to do it. I'm not going to give myself reasons not to do it, because I know the more that I take the positive actions in my business, the better my business is going to turn out. And when you look at most people, and I can tell you, because I speak to thousands of people between me and my team, we at least speak to 1,000 to 2,000 people personally every year. I'm not even talking about the live events, which, by the way, we got a live boot camp coming up. I'll tell you about that at the end. I'm not even talking about the virtual trainings and events that I do. I'm talking about individually. We have conversations with people between myself and my team, and there's a lot of people, they give up very easy. They give up very easy and say, and they always finding ways to push it off, to kick the can down the road, to wait. I'm not ready. Let me chill. Not right time of year. It's like the money is always a reason why to wait. And you know what's so crazy? The opposite is true for the world's most successful people. These are the same people that they do what they call compressed deadlines. They try to get things done faster. Steve Jobs was notorious for this at Apple. His team would tell him, yo, hey, this project is going to take 6 months. He said, good, get it done in 6 weeks. He said, they say, Steve, it's going to take 6 weeks to get this project done. He said, great, get it done in 6 days. They say, Steve, this is going to take about 6 days to get this done. He says, great, get it done by the end of the day. Why did he say, oh, it's going to take 6 weeks? Okay, give us 12 weeks. Oh, this is going to take 6 months. Okay, guys, you have a year. Don't worry about it. They don't do that. They do what they call compressed deadlines. They get things done faster. So how do you get things done faster? You get things done faster by making it a habit. When something is a habit, you do it unconsciously. You do it whether whether you're thinking about it or not. It is a habit. So when you can start turning success into a habit, this is when things are going to start changing for you. You know what I mean? So there's plenty of ways to be able to do this. Like I can do this while I'm standing in line. I mean, I'll be, if I ever find myself waiting, I'll start doing something. Or if I'm in the back of an Uber, I'm not just chilling. I'm like, cool, I got 20 minutes in this Uber. All right, cool. What can I get done? And guess what happens if you have 3 to 5 moments like that every single day where you're not just wasting time. Like you actually are doing little habits and things that's getting you ahead. You'll be surprised how after 5 little habits that you did today turns into 35 habits at the end of the week. Think about that, which turns into 140 habits at the end of positive actions that you've taken in your business at the end of the month. You know what I'm saying? Which is, over 1,000 plus habits that you've taken, 1,500 plus habits that you've taken by the end of the year. Positive actions that if you would have never had those habits, you would have never took those actions, you would be you'll be over 1,500 actions short. You'll be 1,500. Think about that. Anything you do that's 1,500 times less, you're going to get less results. I could talk about this so much more, but we got limited time. But just know that that's what it's going to take in order to go to the next level. We're going to talk more about that. We're going to talk more about that as I start telling you, because this is just the beginning of the conversation. So, but we're going to talk more about that. I'll tell you that at the end. And then the third belief is that we're talking about, how to make progress even when you're busy. So a lot of people think, well, I'm too busy. I got a lot going on. I got this. I got the church. I'm volunteering here. I got 1 or 2 jobs. I got the kids. I'm taking care of my mom. I got these health issues, right? I got all of these things going on. I'm trying to figure this out. And They're continually in a cycle of I'm too busy, I'm too busy. If you're always too busy to do something, how are you ever going to expect it to grow if you're too busy? Think about that. You can't reasonably expect anything to grow or get better if you're too busy for it. Try being too busy for your marriage and tell me what that happens. So tell me where that goes. Try being too busy for your kids and tell me what that looks like. Try being too busy to say, no, I'm just too busy to take care of my health. So you keep eating Big Macs and pizza and Chinese food every night. Tell me what that's going to look like if you keep saying I'm too busy to eat healthy. Right? I'm too busy. I'm too busy. Anytime you have something that's too busy, you know what you're really saying? I'm not prioritizing this, so I'm going to neglect it. Anything that you neglect does not get better on purpose. Things naturally decline and decay over time. Things will decline and decay. So anything you do not put energy into will decline and decay. And if it's your business, that means the attention that you got for the business is going to go away. That means that the confidence that you once had for your business is going to go down because you're not actively strengthening your courage muscle, right? And things are just going to get harder over time unless you're actively putting in the work to make sure that you create the time for it. So it's not that you're busy, it's just that you're misprioritizing your time. That's what you're doing. And that's literally how I went full time, is because I started prioritizing my time properly. So I was working for Johnson & Johnson before I went full time. And it was cool. So I'm working there, whatever. And I'm building a business. I'm getting some clients. It wasn't enough for me to really go full time yet. Maybe I was at like maybe a good month, 3,000. I remember going to a conference. And I got this on video. I maybe one day you get on the training, or if you're one of my clients, I'll show it on one of our calls. But I have me going to an event. This is probably like 2018, 2019. And I'm like, oh, I just want to make $5,000 a month. And I think at that time, my highest month might have been like 2,000. I'm like, I just want to make $5,000 a month. And that was just like my goal. And this is me on camera. This is an event. This is like a mastermind event that I was at. And this is what we're having conversations about, right? And there was a lady that was a speaker, and she calls me up to the front of the room, and we start putting together this plan on, right, how you gonna make $5,000 a month, Terrell? So what it came down to is she started breaking down, like, hold on, why you focused on this? So why are you paying attention to that? And she basically started breaking down my productivity, and it had me thinking, like, damn, I'm not, as I ain't really getting as much stuff done as I thought I was getting done. You know what I mean? I was good enough to make it inside of the room. So I was doing something, but it wasn't really enough to really get me where I wanted to get to. So at this time I'm working at, so now fast forward, it's 2020. I'm working at Johnson & Johnson. You see my degrees in the background. So my background is cybersecurity. So I was doing cybersecurity for Johnson & Johnson. This is right in New Jersey. And things are going well, but then we end up getting a new manager that came in, completely different management style, rub people the wrong way. We started butting heads, and I started realizing, like, hold on, he's buddy with like all of the VPs and the people that cut my check. So I get to this point now, and I'm at a crossroads now, and I'm thinking, okay, Terrell, what are we going to do? I can either continue to coast and say, kind of doing what I'm doing with the business and, just is, basically getting small incremental progress. I said, or I can really get productive and I can go all in, like really do the things that it take. Cause I kind of knew what it took. And I really know, if you're honest with yourself, are you really giving 100%? Like, let's be real. Like, are you really giving 100%? Can you honestly say, you know what, I'm really giving it my all every day, or you cutting corners? You're a little tired, say, like, I ain't gonna do it. It's like the things that that you could do, but when it comes to that moment of decision, you opt to do the easier thing instead of doing the necessary and the hard thing. How often do you find yourself in scenarios like that and you continue to opt to do the easy thing, the easy thing, the easy thing, the easy thing, instead of the necessary thing, instead of the difficult thing, instead of the thing that's going to make you grow? So that was me up until I made that point in that moment. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna go the road less traveled. So I started getting on our road, and guess what? It happened. Judgment Day happened. And one day they let me go. Hammer drops, I get logo from the company. But I'm so thankful and happy that I decided to take the road that made me a better person. I'm decided because I'm happy at the fact that I was at a point where I'm at $15,000 a month now. We getting clients now. Things are flowing now. And this is while I had a job. It wasn't like I quit and then said, I'm going to do it. I developed the habits, the positive productivity and consistency habits that allowed me to be able to make the sales so I can stay full-time. But even more important than that, I was able to prove to myself that I can do it. Able to prove to myself that I'm not a failure. Able to prove to myself, like when I really put my mind to something, I know I can make it happen. And one of the big things that I did that made that shift for me was focusing on the what we call revenue generating activities. And I gave myself a schedule that I'm going to stick to. So these are the things that changed it for me.